Do you know what, Crispy?
What, mate?
Every week you do the intro gag. Every time I'm like, oh, we need a funny intro. And then you give us the intro. And you know what? It's brilliant. You're a funny guy. We all love you for it. But this week, you know what? You can take a week off.
I'll do that. Thank you. What have you got?
Just that. I just want. It's just crispy support. That's all it is. It's just crispy acknowledgement. I just want the listeners to be aware that every time I say we need an intro gag, I think of one myself. I try to think of one. You're always ready. And you know what? You deserve the love for that. Can we get some love for Crispy in the comment section below, please?
Wow, that's very, very kind. Thank you so much.
It's so positive, right? It's just as well, because the next 20 minutes are not going to be. Roll the intro.
Oh.
Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. My name is Troy, his name is Crispy, and we're the hotline that accepts your calls from anywhere in time and space, including the coaster in Crispy's hand. Wow, look at that, sir.
It's Ncuti Gatwa.
That is a coaster, right?
Yeah, that is a coaster. I got that with you in Liverpool.
Did you?
Yeah, at whatever that nerdy shop was that we went to.
Oh, yes, you did. I don't even have one of those myself. Why didn't I buy one for myself? That's crazy.
I love it. I use it all the time.
I have an old Doctor Who Jodie Whittaker logo one.
Oh, nice.
But I don't have.
Coasters represent.
I need a shooty one. Damn, that would have been appropriate for today's episode. Oh, it's disgraceful. I'm so sorry.
Oh well.
I'm so sorry, Crispy. I've let you down, but not as much as Showmasters let the Doctor Who community down. Ladies and gentlemen, honestly, you are in for a ride today, folks.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I don't know what the thumbnail's going to look like. My idea is possibly me giving you the photo of me with Shooty and then you putting your face next to Crispy. I don't know. But it'll be obvious people clicking in that this is the story of London Comic Con Winter 2024. How I met Ncuti Gatwa, met Millie Gibson, and also for the Good Omens fans, or technically the Doctor's wife fans from Doctor Who, Michael Sheen. Three really, really cool people. Really, really nice. Met them. In what was the worst con I've ever been to.
Can we please? I know we're going to call this episode like Troy met Ncuti Gatwa,
probably.
But then in brackets, the worst con experience ever or something.
Do you know what was so funny? Before I went to bed last night, I was thinking that I was like, it's going to be something like Troy met Ncuti Gatwa at an awful convention or something, or Troy, like something like that. We'll workshop it. Trust me, it's going to be. It's So. If you don't know my history, by the way, for this, one of the very, very first episodes of the podcast, I think like episode 3 or something, we really timed it very well, was me meeting Jodie Whittaker at her first ever convention. And I did make several comments during that episode about the way Jodie was treated. She was 6 months pregnant at the time, and it felt like she was paraded around like a circus monkey. Like, it was terrible. Like, she really was like, she was churning autographs out, churning photos out. There was no real consideration towards her. But I kind of was careful with how much I said, because I thought, you know what? She was a world first guest. I don't have experience with Showmasters at that point. That was the first one of their events I'd been to. And I thought, maybe it was just they really didn't expect what went down. They should have done, but they didn't, and mistakes happen. After today, I've got no remorse. I've got no remorse. Like, none at all. Yeah. Well, it's been
130 weeks since 130 something weeks since you saw Jodie Whittaker, given how many episodes we've put out. More than probably. And I think it's safe to say that Showmasters haven't learnt their lessons from all the reports I'm seeing, but I haven't seen what I saw you did, like a massive like a tweet today or something. I didn't read it.
I did a thread thinking a few people would look at it, and I woke up to having 400 likes, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Well, there we go. Well, please, I haven't read it. I'm very curious for your thoughts, Troy, because you love a convention, you love me and the Doctor Who celebs, but you also love organization, and you know,
my room wouldn't convince you of that, but I do. I very much do.
I'm excited. So, everyone, please indulge me in listening to Troy Red Archer Live. Just have a little rant about poor Comic-Con management.
And then after that, don't worry, we will have good vibes, because the call-in for this week is just your thoughts on the 15th Doctor, because we all love Ncuti Gatwa here. If you don't, you're not welcome
Ncuti.
Here. But, no, we're going to take a bunch of calls on that at the end, so that'll be a nice way to round it off, okay? But just sit back and relax, okay? Just sit back. Just relax, have a good time. Get some popcorn, Crispy. I mean, all I've got are M&Ms. We went to the M&M store after the con, so I've look at that. I've got a tub. Look at this, Crispy. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
I've got a tub full of orange M&Ms. That's all it is.
That's weird to me. Do all M&Ms taste the same? Is that a thing?
I don't think so. Unless this is some big psychological thing, and they all do taste the same. And it's just
I read that all Skittles taste the same in like the generic one. Oh. Anyway, this is a conversation for another day.
That's interesting. No, we've got to hype people up. We've got to hype them up. We've got to get them excited. They've got to be on the edge of their seats. Okay, they've got to be on the edge of their seats.
Everyone,
London Comic Con winter. Now, the thing is, Showmasters are known for their Doctor Who guests. They're the biggest ones. Like, I've been to Comic Cons in between from them. I've done a couple of their spring events. One of them was going to have Bella Ramsey, but they cancelled right before. I'm kind of glad, because I can imagine how chaotic it would have been. It's much better than Comic Con Liverpool meeting them, which I'll make a case for later in terms of the best Comic Con providers, but we'll get there. But, like, it's been chaotic for some of the big guests. Like Karen Gillan this time last year was like quite chaotic, but I don't feel like it was anywhere near as bad. Maybe that I just dodged some of it and it was just as bad at the previous con. I'm only going to speak from my own experience, which I think at this point speaks for itself. But if anyone had problems with previous ones, please do let us know in the comments, because I think it's about time that there's some genuine change with Showmasters. But I kind of figured going into it, and I think I said it to you, it might have been off camera, but I had a fear that after the way Jodie Whittaker was handled a couple of years ago, I was like, shoot, he's going to be just as bad, and it could be worse. I was like, hopefully it won't be worse. There's no way they could make it worse, but I just have this gut feeling that it will be, because like his era is possibly more popular than Jodie's was or whatever, because she did her con before the Series 13 specials. Flux had come out, yeah. So she was getting towards the end of her tenure, that like without being that guy, viewing figures had fallen off. People were moaning about the 13th Doctor's era, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there was still an insane turnout for her, which proved how loved she was, which was fantastic. But we're at the start of a new era, a Disney Plus era. There's people flying from different countries. I've seen on Twitter, someone came over from Finland, someone came over from, was it Norway? Or I saw a few people exchange, like talking about like, Spain, they'd flown over from. So there's like worldwide appeal. Everyone wanted to come to meet Ncuti Gatwa for his first World Convention appearance, because this is his first one.
Yeah, he's also like he's like massive. He's got Sex Education, Barbie, and, the rest of
Barbie,
he's quite the star.
Yeah.
Quite the star.
Yeah, exactly. He's Ryan Gosling endorsed.
Right? Yeah, officially.
Ryan Gosling, which by the way, watched La La Land for the first time a couple of days ago. That film's amazing. My goodness.
Oh wow!
So
I watched Drive for the first time a couple of days ago. Another Ryan Gosling film, vastly different. Loved it. Had a great time. Carey Mulligan's in it.
I need to watch more of his films. But we turned up. So typically what I tend to do, because I go to a lot of these events with my mum, and if you're not already aware, my mum is disabled. She has a walking stick to get around. She can't stand for long periods of time. She has to have me around as her essential carer, which is like fine for these conventions because we both want to do them anyway. Like we're both as invested in it as each other, so that's fine. But like, obviously, because of that, I've got to think about getting her around places. Like, I timetable everything, especially with conventions where we meet a lot of people. Like, I could easily show you one. Like, I do, like, timetables. And, like, here's the times for people's autographs, photos, and then we can basically effectively manage where to go in the shortest span of time, the shortest amount of walking, shortest amount of waiting, so she's fine. Like, that's all I'm bothered about. If I have to wait in a queue, I don't care. I'm quite happy to wait in queues with other people, but it's her I worry about. So I'm thinking, all right, let's get it all sorted. And I'm ahead. I'm looking at the schedule. All they provided for Showmasters is the photo times, because criticism number one of Showmasters, there will be a few. You can't buy autographs ahead of time. This was just as much of a problem today as it was with Jodie Whittaker. I do not understand for the life of me why autographs can't be prepaid for, because that would allow you to manage how many people can go and meet these people. When you have a big guest at a Monopoly event like Comic Con Liverpool, like say one of the big supernatural stars, they put up a set number of photographs, a set number of autographs. If it sells out before the day, tough luck, you're not going to get to meet them. Sebastian Stan was the biggest example of that at the last Comic Con Liverpool. He sold out on everything both days. I didn't hear any complaints about that. Could have missed one or two, but there certainly wasn't an explosion on Twitter about it, which is where you tend to find these things. So that's already a bad thing. And for pricing, if you want to be aware of how it works, you can buy a photo ahead of time if you wish. You probably wouldn't get it honoured. Tons of people didn't, including podcast alumni. One of our guests, Dominic G. Martin, Purple Doctor from DW 2012. He paid for a photo, didn't get it.
And what happened? Oh my god.
He did not get it. I saw him at the start of Shooty's photos.
At the day? What happened?
At the day, I saw him at the start of Shooty's photographs, and I saw him saying, we've been told not to get in the queue yet because all the diamond people, I'll explain in a moment, all the diamond people are being queued up. We've not been called in. We got called in, came out, and then I found out from afterwards that they turned his lot away. There were like different batches of photographs. He got turned away and told to come back tomorrow, and he couldn't come back today.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
crazy. He turned up in a full Shooty cosplay, in a Joy to the World cosplay. He looked fantastic. Didn't get to meet him. So he's not a happy bunny, and I wouldn't be either. I'm not happy. I met Shooty.
Unbelievably disappointing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, for pricing, what happens is you either buy a photo ahead of time or you buy a diamond pass, which I still think is daylight robbery. And to be honest, I'm kind of annoyed that I bought one for Ncuti this time. I did it because I was like, I have to if I want to meet him. Even though it annoys me to be supporting them in this way, I'm not even going to do it again now. I just really, unless there's some... the only exception I would make now is to meet David Tennant again, and that's only because I want to finish off this cake story from Limitless Win. I'm waiting for his next con so we can have that interaction. I hope to God I don't have to do it through a Showmasters event because I want to stay far away from them as possible. But because speaking of, Wales Comic Con went bankrupt. I found that out as well. You know, one of the ones I also went to, they went bust. Oh. So there's even smaller ones. Yeah,
crikey,
it's crazy.
Moses.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not surprised they weren't the best with autographs at the very least. But anyway, so you buy a diamond pass if you want to secure a photo and an autograph. It's actually the only way to get an autograph. It's incredibly predatory because they're like, you can't buy an autograph on the day, like ahead of time. You turn up to their desk at the start of the day, you're given a queue ticket, and then they call the raffle tickets in order, but only once the diamond pass people have gone. And I remember on Jodie Whittaker's first con, because she only did one day on the Saturday, I think only about 50 people who hadn't paid for a diamond pass got an autograph from her because they oversold the diamond passes. About 300 people had them, and then people didn't get to really get an autograph afterwards. So if you turned up hoping to meet her, chances are you were screwed. You got no chance. The best chance you had was that cosplay meetup where she turned up behind everyone and was like, oh, you all look great, which was lovely. But didn't do that for Ncuti. Yeah. Because what happened with Ncuti as well was he was only going to be on the Saturday, I believe. I don't think he was going to be on the Sunday, as far as I'm aware, unless he was originally. But what they did was they changed the plans towards the end because he's about to do a stage play, The Importance of Being Earnest, and I think he was called for rehearsals for it for Saturday afternoon, so they had to cut off what he was doing at the end of Saturday, and they said ahead of time, if you can do the Sunday, please come on the Sunday instead, and we'll sort it out. Most people weren't going to go on a Sunday for the big day. I certainly wasn't. I mean, getting trains to London on a Sunday, that's unreliable as hell. I don't want to be stranded in Euston for a weekend. That's not happening. I mean, some of the underground lines were off this weekend, so would not have wanted to be stranded.
Is it just like a Sunday thing?
I don't know if it's just like generally. I think just this weekend in particular is bad, but I just don't like trains on Sundays anyway. When I go out places on Sundays, I find trains are just a lot less reliable, typically.
Yeah, okay.
At least where I am. I don't know about other places, but yeah. So you could go on the Sunday if you wanted to, but most people weren't going to, and it was evidenced by the turnout. So from what I can see, autograph-wise, let's talk about the autographs first, because they weren't as bad. Autograph-wise, seemed okay. I didn't see too much chaos, but they kind of called all Diamond Pass people at once to come and get autographs, and there were 10 batches. So I don't really know if that worked as smoothly as it sounded. There was a lot of chaos, like, gathering around the desks, but there was, like, a pretty distinct line beyond that you could get into. We came up, we had the extra help, and they were very helpful in just getting us through in the queue, so my mum could get her autograph, I'll go with her, get that sorted, get out of the queue. That was fine. So floor staff were lovely. I have to point that out because they were doing the best they could with how it was laid out. The floor staff I've got no problems with because they just tried their absolute best.
Are a lot of them like volunteers? Are like quite young?
I believe
like,
so, but I don't know for
like
sure.
That's how they do stuff here in Oz. It's usually there's like a lot of young, really nice people, and it's not the higher ups that are making these ridiculous decisions to try and maximize their end line. Anyway, please keep going.
Well, there are two different types of staff. There are people who wear blue shirts, people who wear red. I think that, and often the red ones are like the higher ups, like ask a red shirt to get like the better information. So maybe they're on the payroll, and the blue ones the volunteers. I would guess that's how I'm thinking it might be, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Sorry, I realised I forgot the most important part of the start of the day. So you know how I mentioned my mum has a walking stick?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got to the entrance of the venue, this Olympia, which normally has an entrance right by the side that everyone queues up and goes into. That entrance was now exclusively for exhibitors, people doing like stands and stuff, stalls. We get to the venue and we go, my mum's got a disability, walking stick, can we get the accessible entrance? We got diamond passes, because we sometimes just saying diamond passes makes their eyes light up. We got diamond passes, we got accessibility. Where do we go? They go, the entrance is just around the side. And we think, oh, okay, it's the same as last time, fine. So we just walk down this little bit here. Already a bit of a walk forward. We walk down it a little bit, get to this side entrance and ask the guys and go, can we, this is the extra help entrance. Because last time there was an extra help entrance you could get into that skipped the queue so you could get inside and get sorted, which is all I was thinking about for her. Again, I don't think I need to clarify this. I wouldn't have cared on my own. I'd have been fine. It's my mum I'm worried about here. I say it to them, and they go, there's an exhibitor's entrance here, but they may not let you in. I'm like, but accessible, man. Should be okay. You could clearly can't walk around, because what they actually said was the entrance was right round the other side of the building this time, and we're talking like a 5-6 minute walk around the edge of the building. Oh, genuinely. Nightmare. Yeah, you can see where this is going, can't you?
Yeah.
I go up to the exhibitor's entrance, and there's a guy there. He goes, have you got? Are you an exhibitor? I go, no. I said, I've got my mum's disabled. She's got a walking stick, and her arm is in a sling. Just realised I forgot to mention that too. My brain's not functioning. I had 11 hours of sleep, uninterrupted, which is completely unlike me. I needed to cool off after yesterday. Her arm's in a sling because she had an operation a couple of weeks ago. Which was not known at the time that we booked the con, so we had to roll with it. I said to her I would be happy to go on my own, but she went, no, I still want to go. And I said, fair play to you, we'll make it happen. So she walks up with her arm in a sling and the other hand on a walking stick, quite clearly not that stable on her feet. And I go, can we please come in through this entrance? We're accessible. We need to get in and get like our tickets and stuff. We don't want to walk around the hallway of the building. She can't for her mobility. And the guy went, no. I tried, begged, pleaded, wouldn't let us through.
What on earth? Like, what do they gain? What kind of threat are Troy Red Arch Alive and Mama Arch Alive to this
If you ever
venue?
looked at me and thought I was threatening. Now, look, I get he's just trying to do his job and he's only meant to let exhibitors through, but my feeling would be, in that situation, you could make an exception. You could say, if someone's quite clearly going to struggle walking around the building, I would make that exception in that position.
That's actually ridiculous. When I was with the 50% boys and we were... Oh, where the hell were we? We were in Perth and we went to the Comic-Con there. We had our little, media wristband or whatever, and that allowed us to get through anything. And I feel like it should be the same for a disability, if not more so.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. That's
appalling,
appalling, actually. It's probably the worst part of this story. Maybe.
And again, several comparisons I will make. And Monopoly events, I will say, some people have a couple of complaints on Monopoly events, probably valid ones, but in terms of accessibility, no con does it better. You turn up to, Comic-Con Liverpool, there are gates for day tickets, gates for weekend tickets, and gates for Diamond Pass and Extra Help. And Diamond for Monopoly is an overall con-wide thing. It's a queue-skipping ticket. It's not guest-specific, so it's not as predatory for one thing. So you get in through the right line, and you go straight through, and you're fine. And especially for photos and autographs, there's a specific line for diamond and disabled people, and then a standard line. And for autographs, it's fantastic. There's one entrance. You go up there, you say who you're meeting, they take you there. Job done. It's perfect. Showmasters, obviously not so much. So we walk around the entire building. Mum's already out of breath and not feeling particularly happy when we get in. We get inside the venue. We got to get our extra help stuff. There's a massive line for extra help people, by the way, which even the guys at the till said they were really surprised by. Apparently, they don't get that many extra help people. Don't know if there's any validity to that. But obviously, so we've got to wait in that line. My mum gets in there, and then I realise there's a line separately for disabled people, not disabled people, for Diamond Pass people. So I say to her, much as I didn't love it, I was like, right, I'm going to go get in that line. You stay in extra help. I'll come over if I need you to, just to try and cut things down. Because by this point, Mum's already out of breath, not feeling particularly jazzed. So we get our queue stuff done. That's all fine, and we get into the event. Ncuti photo doesn't start till 11 o'clock, and by this point we're in at about 9:45, maybe even 10 o'clock by the time we walked around. We were going to be in there for about 9:15, but I think it was about 10 by the time we actually entered. Did see Tharies at one point going past, didn't get to chat to him. He kind of got his ticket and just went off, which I don't blame him considering how the con went. So, like I said, the only thing I can say that was positive, that was well done, for us, for disabled people, was the autographs, because we asked the right relevant guy in the shirt, explained Mum's situation, they got us through, and all 3 autographs went off without a hitch. They were fine. So I will give credit where it's due there. That seemed okay. Have heard people online saying they didn't have the same look, so I don't know about that.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Has Tharies said anything about his experience? Because I imagine
he commented about the organisation a little bit, but not nearly as much as I did. So I don't know beyond that. And to be fair, I am just constantly checking Twitter to see if there's anything new about the Ncuti stuff. I am hearing today apparently it was a hell of a lot easier, but I think that's more because most Saturday people who didn't get on it aren't turning up today. Because today, their schedule for photos, they offered half an hour for Ncuti's photos. That's it. They had about 2 hours of photo opportunities yesterday, about half an hour today. They did not plan this properly, but maybe they just kind of knew the people who didn't get on it on Saturday wouldn't turn up, which is disgraceful, really. But whatever. So autographs were okay. My only complaint with the actual autograph experience, if I was going to be picky, was that just like Jody, there were no personalizations, and that's obviously because they want to get as many people through as they can.
It's good up.
Round them all up. I can see both sides, because obviously you want as many people to meet him as you can because everyone wants to meet the guy, sure. But on the other side of that, if you're paying as much as an autograph or a Diamond Pass costs, which I'll just put on the record, a Ncuti Diamond Pass was £300. I didn't feel comfortable paying it. I didn't like paying it, but I was kind of like, I'm just going to go meet him, fine. I really, honestly, in a lot of ways regret it, but whatever. I got to meet the guy, so fine, whatever. I won't be buying a Diamond Pass anytime soon. Like I said, David Tennant will be the only time I consider it, and even then, I'm not even sure I'll go through with it.
And then you've got to pay for a cake.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to cost about £500 now. Yeah. So, no personalizations. So, you're going to be put through quite quickly. But I genuinely think it was even faster than Jodie. Because I mean, with Jodie, the infamous story, if you don't know, was I didn't realise there were no personalisations. It wasn't super well advertised. There were a couple of placards in places I just genuinely didn't notice because we get my mum in the queue. And I just said to her, I went, "Can you write it to Troy?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." Wrote to Troy, gave it, walked away, and then one of my friends went, "How'd you get that personalised?" and points at the sign. I went, "Oh, this time." Even if I hadn't realised, there'd have been no way on God's green earth it would have happened, because it was very much just, "Hi, what am I writing? There you go." And she was just writing Ncuti XO 15. That was it, which he has done on the figures that I've got. So I will show you them.
Please.
But it's that effect of, if you're paying that much money, you want to at least have a bit of an interaction, and the autographs are the best way to interact with the guest. A photo's very much, "Hi, what are we doing? Go." Autograph, you get to have a bit of a word. Didn't really get a chance. And he didn't really write, you can just kind of see there, he put Ncuti 15XO on the figure, quite small. Because he said he wanted it over the window, and I think he didn't think we went over the whole window, but he just wrote it on there. And that was fine. We got the autograph, moved on. But I do think out of all the doctors, he's the one I spent the least amount of time with, just getting to chat to. Even with David Tennant, when I met him and got the autograph, if you remember, I had that conversation with him about how it had been 15 years since Series 3. And I was like, "I feel dead old." He went, "You feel old? How do you think I feel?" Got to have a bit of a chat about it, which was lovely. It was really nice. But I just didn't really get that with Ncuti, which is a bit of a shame. And a similar thing happened with Millie, where it was very much kind of a very quick interaction. Didn't even get a chance to ask her to write on the window pane. She just wrote at the top of the box, which I don't love. I would have liked it on the window, but whatever. But I did get to have one little chat to her about how she got featured on Shrek's Instagram. Real height of
did she know about that?
There. Did you see that on Shrek's Instagram?
I saw it. Tell
so if you
people,
don't know, Millie Gibson has a Letterboxd profile, that movie reviewing platform, and she documents all the movies on there. But she put something for Shrek 2 a couple of days ago, just craving a medieval meal, and Shrek saw it and put it on there as a post on their account. So I said that to her. Her face lit up when I mentioned it. She was like, "I couldn't believe it. I was going crazy about it." So that was lovely. And both of them were really sweet. They were both absolutely lovely people. It was really nice to say hi to them, even though it was super brief. I do wish it had been a little bit more time to meet them. But again, like I said, I can understand the trade-off of, if you spend longer with them, there are other people who won't get to meet them all together. So it's a tightrope. It's a tough one. However, the reason that I feel more like that is because we then met Michael Sheen. We got all 3 autographs before Ncuti's photo, which was great. Again, I was really happy about that. Didn't expect that. But Michael Sheen took so much time. There was a proper queue for him, but he took the time to chat to you, you could talk about the things you enjoyed him in. I mean, for us, we timed it perfectly. As we got to him, went, "Give me a minute, I actually need to order my lunch." So I just stood there, just waiting, watching him order his lunch and then having a bit of a chat. He's just get this.
How did he order his lunch? What was he doing? Was he using Uber Eats, or was he talking to one of the people
I don't know
there?
what app he was ordering. He was doing something on his phone. He was
he was doing something on his phone. That is so funny.
Yeah, because just sat there, let me just get my lunch.
Behind the scenes at these cons, they usually have some kind of cater. Well, I don't know. I've only been to 2 or 3 in Australia, and I imagine it's vastly different to the large ones that you guys get.
Probably, yeah.
But behind the scenes, they usually some catering. But I love the idea of Michael Sheen ordering on Uber Eats. And
genuinely. Oh God! So he was like, "I'm sorry about this," and I went, "It's fine. I get to spend longer in your presence." He started laughing, so he was fine. But he didn't have a no personalizations rule. He had a diamond pass. He had loads of people waiting for him. No personalizations banning for him, which was fantastic because I had a very specific plan, and I'm glad I got to honour it. So I got him to sign the Zero Fail pop that I had, which was really nice.
Beautiful.
It's really, really good.
To Troy. Love to see that.
But my plan is, I do have a Crowley one chilling over there. So when I meet David Tennant, plan is photo with the cake, mention about the cake, and then he's going to send a Good Omens pop. And I've got Michael Sheen to write "Not Anymore, Baby" on the side. Do you know what I'm going for here, Crispy?
I can see exactly what you're going to do. On the Crowley one, you're going to get David Tennant to write "I'm Doctor Who."
Bingo. Which, of course, is a staged reference, which only aged better with time, of him screaming "I'm Doctor Who" and him going "Not anymore, baby." So that was so lovely.
Good. So did you tell him? Did he know the quote exactly what you were referring? Yeah, good.
Yeah, I said, "Can you write 'Not Anymore, Baby' on the side?" I said, "I've got a very specific plan with David." He went, "Oh, okay." Wrote it on the side. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And just said to him about, I said, obviously he was great in Good Omens. Said, "Love you in Good Omens." Was a bit unsure how much to bring up about that because obviously there's a lot of stuff going on around that at the minute with regards to Neil Gaiman and. Yeah, Series 3 becoming a film. And I thought, he's probably going to get people asking about that anyway. I'm just going to leave that. And I went, honestly, for me, stage was the best thing. Came out at a perfect time, obviously. It was fantastic. We had so much fun doing that. I was like, yeah, you could tell. So, we actually went obviously, we know you don't really like David Tennant. He went, "No, it's all acting. Can't stand him." It's just he's so funny. It was lovely. He was the best autograph interaction. Lovely guy. Yeah. Lovely guy.
I don't doubt it.
And after that, just as a little bit of a share for the Who's There community, I bumped into one of our listeners, Crispy.
Who?
Not just any listener. Could you please just point behind your... I'm just trying to get it full screen. Where's it gone? There is a particular doll, Crispy, that you have.
Oh.
Could you...
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, no.
It's somewhere.
Well, don't worry, I have mine right here if I need to showcase it. But I have a doll here that was of me, that someone made for us, and it has a Pale Waves t-shirt on it, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, there you go. I knew you still had it. There you go. Look at that. We both have dolls that were made by one of our listeners. What are you doing, Crispy? Are you making him latch onto the microphone?
I've got so many wires. I can't. I've got my wires crossed.
Where have you put him?
He's ready.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Lovely. So they're made by one of our listeners, also known as Maisie, a.k.a. Barney the Cockapoo's mum.
Cockapoo's mum.
Who was absolutely lovely because she came up to us while we were getting our autographs. It was a little bit rushed because we were trying to get into a line for an autograph, but she waited for us. She was absolutely lovely. Her and her dad
that's nice.
had a proper chat to her. Loveliest person, and got a photo with her.
Hey! Oh,
Look
that's
at that.
lovely. Oh, that
She was
makes my
lovely.
heart... We've done it. We've done a good thing with this podcast.
It was a great thing.
This is all we need. Thanks, guys.
Exactly.
100%.
It was so nice that, and I think there might have been other people who were there who wanted to either say hi or knew I was there. I'm so sorry if you either saw me or didn't get a chance to see me. As soon as we got what we wanted from this con, we were out faster than you could believe it. Like genuinely, neither of us wants to be there any longer than we had to be. So we got the autographs, and then that was when it went downhill for me, because the photos. The way the photos are done, and this is the biggest issue, and they really need to work on this. So because of the diamond passes, they'd sold so many of these things that most people a huge chunk of people turning up saying we've paid for a diamond pass, we're entitled to a photo, we prepaid for it. Then you've also got all these other people who prepaid for a photo specifically, like Dominic, we were talking about. All these people turning up, and it is basically just a mass of people. It's basically like you're at a gig or like at a festival and everyone's crowding the barrier. That is the effect, that's what it looks like. So if you're trying to get there, and I was saying to Mum, we'll get there about 10 minutes before the photo, explain we're extra help, they should prioritise us, especially because we're Diamond as well, we got both together. We can get our photos with each person, we can get the extra help stuff, get in queue, get it sorted, get out, basically. We can get all that sorted. And so we turned up to Shooty Queue about 10 minutes before, and it's just bedlam. It's absolute chaos. It's genuine chaos.
Oh, gosh.
And we're trying to just find someone in a blue shirt to be like, my mum's disabled, and also she said, I got a sling, need I remind people? Like, she's in a queue, everyone's pushing around. She claims that she never got bumped into anyone properly by it. I don't fully believe it, because it looked a couple of times like she had been caught by somebody, which I don't love. But I think she probably, because she knew I was stressing trying to get us around, she didn't tell me, whatever. But eventually, what they basically did was, they have this big box the photos take place in, and then the queue starts just outside it. And then you have this like slalom thing, it's all taped on the floor. So you start a queue and then you kind of curve round and curve round and curve round like that, like in this weird little line. But that's just, when that line is filled, what they've laid out on the floor, that's probably, at a guess, a third of the people gathering around the box.
Oh, gosh.
Genuinely.
Absolute madness.
Absolute madness. You've got that line, and then there's just a conglomeration. There's no better word for it, gathered around it. And so they kind of shout out, Diamond Pass Batch 1, Diamond Pass Batch 2, and it's already full. Diamond Pass Batch 3, where are they going? Where are you putting these people? You put them in the void?
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Oh, my word.
It's terrible. I do think part of it is the venue they use is terrible. The Olympia is not big enough to sustain what they have at this venue. It just isn't big enough. It's a terrible place to do it, honestly. Like, the XL for MCM I don't love for their prices of, like, guests and autographs. Every con has their pros and cons, whatever. But at least they have an event space to hold things to the right size. Like, that's fine. The Olympia is probably about, oh, God, if I was to really, really push it, I think about a tenth of the size of MCM.
Really?
Probably. Because it's MCM London is 2 giant convention halls. Massive. And it takes you about 5 minutes to get from end to end. The Olympia you could do in 2 minutes. Like, end to end.
God.
And width to width, a minute. Like, it's not big. It's not a big place. And if people only know that convention, they'd be baffled if they walked into MCM London. They'd be like, what? I mean, it's overstuffed with people now at MCM because they combined 2 conventions together for the last one. Can cons be simpler, please? Can they just be simpler? Like, can we do this?
I'm curious as to why they didn't learn their lesson from Jodie. Like, we joke about it, but I'm just curious because they would have seen the ticket sales for both times. Yep. And seen the chaos and surely they know that they're getting absolutely roasted online. Do they care because the convention's done and they've got their money? So do they care about it at all?
I think it's as simple as paid? They know some people might not bother to chase with their refunds. They could maybe miss some refund requests, whatever it may be. They may think it's genuinely better for them as a business, profit-wise, to take in as many sales as they possibly can, know that someone will get honoured and still come out with a profit, as opposed to sell a limited amount and then get out. I think they genuinely have probably worked it out. There's no way after all the complaints they've got, because they put out an apology about the Jodie Whittaker thing, but it was kind of like it's not our fault, it's your fault. That's very much how it came across.
What, because it was her first con? What? Why?
Because,
how was it our fault? How the heck is it our fault?
Oh, I don't know, Crispy. I just don't get it. So we're queued outside for Shooty. Shooty was late to his photos anyway, which I think might be because he was busy with autographs. Who knows? Like I said, I was fine with the autographs. I'm under the impression it could have been a lot worse than I've actually seen, because they were actually good with getting us through quick with extra help. So maybe the autographs were just as bad. In the comments, I encourage anyone to share their stories if you've got them. But man, we're still waiting in the queue for about 20 minutes, which isn't great for Mum. There's nowhere for her to sit. Like, Wales Comic Con went bust, but at least with their photos, there was a place you could sit down when you were waiting for extra help for photos. That was great. That was perfect. Nothing like that for Showmasters. There's barely anywhere to sit around at all in London Comic Con, unless you're sitting at the cafe. You've not really got anywhere to take a seat anyways. People just sit on the floor, which, again, disabled, walking stick, sling. She's not getting up and off the floor, is she? Come on. Ugh. Bores my blood. Got the photo eventually, and I will say when we got the AM slot, and he was slightly slower with each guest. Like, you could say, oh, here's the pose I want to do, and we do the pose, take the photo, done. There is a video going around on Twitter of his PM slot, and it is literally, he stood there, photo, bam, gone, photo, bam, gone, photo, bam, gone, and it's appalling. It's like... I
love that video. I love it.
You've seen it, I assume, then.
Yeah, that's the main, like, every time I refreshed Twitter today, that was the first thing I saw, and I was like, holy Moses, what is, I feel bad. I wonder what Shooty thinks of the day. I'm sure Michael Sheen had a great time. I wonder what Shooty thought.
Yeah, exactly. And I do wonder, because unfortunately, this is going to be take with a grain of salt. I've just heard a lot of people saying this. Apparently, Millie was touched inappropriately by one of the guests who was taking one of the con-goers who was taking a picture with her. Are you serious? Genuinely, apparently that's what happened.
This is the goddamn problem with these Comic Cons. And I don't know if Millie's done these types of cons before,
nope,
but it's the exact same. Oh, okay, well that's fan freaking tastic. It's the exact same thing that happened with Jenna Coleman. It's disgusting. And whoever the heck's do. Oh, anyway, that boils my blood more than anything. That's ridiculous. She's a young woman, for God's sake. Back off.
She's younger than both of us.
Anyway.
I mean, we're saying that like it's any better if she's older than us. It doesn't make a blooming difference. It's just disgraceful either way. But that's why when I heard that, I was thinking, and I remember when I got my photo with Millie, which we will get to, that I think Millie's queue was arguably worse than Shooty's, if you could believe it. Maybe it was just because we got lucky and happened to get in line with Shooty, like happened to find the right guy and get in the right place on time. Maybe we just managed it, I don't know. But with Millie, when we got to her, they went, keep your hands in front of you, please. Keep your hands in front. And I thought, and she was the last photo I got, so I noticed that they hadn't said that for Shooty and Michael, and I was like, why are they saying that? Went over to Millie, she put her arm around me straight away, so I was like, oh, okay, fine, pose at the Sonic, it was fine. Yeah. Because I was wondering, but it kind of, with how fast the day was going, kind of just went in, I obviously took it in. Once the photo was done, thought nothing of it, I thought maybe it was just her request. As soon as people started saying that online, I went, oh, God, that makes a lot more sense now. That makes a lot more sense. So,
it's so disappointing. Troy, honestly, I'm glad you met Shooty, but it sounds like an actual hell of a day. I really want to use some choice language here, but we don't do that on this podcast. But it sounds
sometimes
pathetic.
I wish we weren't a kid-friendly one, because I'd have some choice beeping words right now. But yeah, got a photo from Shooty, fine, got out. Based on what I'm hearing, I did ask Dom to explain a little bit about what actually happened with his queue, so let me just get his message up to remind myself of exactly how he worded it. He said, I paid for the photo a few weeks ago when they announced it for £96. They offered us to either come back tomorrow and have the Shooty photo fulfilled, or if we can't make it, which I can't, we have to email in for a refund. Because from what I'd heard from people on Twitter, it got to a point where they went, right, we have no more time for photos, everyone bugger off. Like, they got in as many people as they could, and from what it sounds like, a good chunk of Diamond Pass people didn't even get their photos, and that's meant to be the base. Like, with Jodie, we talk about the autographs, how only a few non-Diamond Pass people got autographs. Not even all the Diamond Pass people got photos with Shooty on the day they were supposed to.
What is this event? What is this event?
I don't get it. And honestly, part of it is down to they don't they don't have a limit to how many passes they sell, it seems like, or if they do, it's so high, it's unfallible. So as soon as Ncuti couldn't do the full day, the con did nothing to adapt to that. They went, oh, you can come on Sunday, when they know full well most people probably can't do that. So you end up having this chaos on the day. If you don't oversell these things, you're not going to have this problem. I don't understand the logic. They already cancelled his talk, which is part of the Diamond Pass. My mum and I are both apparently going to get refunded for that, but God knows when that'll happen. If it happens at all, who knows? So that was terrible, but we got out of Ncuti's photo. Most people seems like got turned away after it was done because the timetable was Ncuti's photos, Ncuti and Millie, then Millie. And so my mum and I went and got Michael's photo, got that done, and then we went and got something to... Well, no, we got Michael's photo, then went straight back to ask about the line for Millie because it was about 15, 20 minutes before it. So let's at least ask. Yep. We got there, Ncuti's wasn't even done. They hadn't even started the duo photos, and the duo photos should have been in progress. So they were clearly behind. So I said to my mum, right, there's no point in us standing around here. You need to be sat down. We went over to one of the cafes and sat for 15 minutes at most, maybe 20, but like no more than that. I go, right, we're getting up to the time. I'm trying to figure it out. I think we're probably at Millie time now. We get over there. Crispy, this is why I said this was the worst one. I think maybe because they've fallen far behind, it got even worse than it already was. The duo photos, I believe, had just started, but there were 2 lines for extra help that had formed. And no one really knew. I don't even know which one was the correct one. I think maybe the first one that we weren't quite in. Everyone just kind of meshed together. But it was literally just a crowd of people. A chunk of it happened to be extra help, but that didn't even really seem super obvious. When it got to the time, the guy called for everyone to follow him around, and people got left behind. No idea what was going on there. There was a father and a daughter. I think the daughter might have been disabled. They were extra help, but they weren't diamonds. And they went, we've been told to wait behind. We have to go later. And then I heard from someone else that apparently everyone who was extra help should have gone at the same time. So they've been left behind, for one thing, which was horrible. But honestly, Crispy, there were so many Diamond extra help, and what they did for Millie, they didn't even call extra help first. They went Diamond and extra help, and they formed this queue. My mum and I were in this slalom, about 3-4 lines in, with a bunch of other disabled people, and there were Diamond people in front of us, we could tell. And the worst part was, we stood in that queue for about 20 minutes before it moved, and when it did, we saw in the distance a bunch of extra help people get ushered straight in front of the entire queue.
Huh.
Fella, my blood was boiling. It was boiling at this point. Bunch of other extra help people around us going, what's going on? Like, there's extra help people being letting over there. And we're so far away in this stupid slalom queue, we can't even shout out and be like, what's going on? Like, it's just...
You know, Troy, the past 24 hours, I was really jealous that you met Ncuti Gatwa. So jealous that you met the current Doctor. It's my favourite show. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now that says Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. After hearing this, I am so glad I just stayed home today and watched YouTube. I am so glad.
Shout out to Josh Snares, who I saw they went to the Aussie convention. I met Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred. Sounds like that was perfect. Oh, no, not Sophie Aldred. I'm seeing Janet Fielding.
Janet. Yeah, I'm seeing Josh and Sylvester this weekend with the 50% boys.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm excited to hear about that.
And I can guarantee you it's going to be so much better than what the heck you just went through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Absolutely horrible, mate. Horrible.
Yeah.
Sam,
I can't believe it.
Let's take a moment and lolook at the photos, at least, that I got. Like I said,
please.
The appalling organisation, I do love the photos that we got. Sam, I don't even mention because it didn't even seem relevant. I was in cosplay, a very casual cosplay. Actually, you can see better from the photos.
You look so damn good, dude. You look so damn good.
Legend of Ruby Sunday, Ncuti, very easy cosplay to put together. Very much like my Ellie Last of Us one. It is very much a casual cosplay thing. I always find that easier anyway. But, photo with Ncuti.
Oh, it's hot.
That's hot, mate. He's fantastic. Like, just
that is hot.
Absolutely brilliant. Lovely guy.
Is that your Sonic?
It is my Sonic. It is this one, right? Ncuti has held my Sonic, Crispy.
That's Doctor Certified. That's awesome.
It's Doctor Certified. He has held my Sonic. Sounds a bit weird. Then we have one with Millie. Like I said. So we came to put her arm and then went, actually, can you post the Sonic? She was like, yeah, sure. So that was fine. So she was absolutely fine with me. Maybe she was, I don't want to say she was better by then, because it's not really a better with regards to what had happened there. But at least she seemed like she kind of got back into the zone a little bit, thankfully.
Well, she's a professional. I mean, you don't know what she would have said after the event. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't do one for years after this.
She's still doing today. She's got a talk later today. Her talk didn't get cancelled, so she's still doing her stuff today.
Okay, well, she's probably got a contract in place. I mean, for the next whatever one. Anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Hopefully avoid Showmasters. And then Michael Sheen, I thought, right, since we're doing the kind of, I don't like Doctor Who kind of vibe, I went, right, I'm going to get a Sonic screwdriver up. Can you roll your eyes? He went, oh, yeah, sure. So, look at his face.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So good.
Absolutely fantastic.
Good.
So,
that's
the
photos
really
good.
Were great. The whole experience around them was terrible. That's why I said on Twitter, my mum, about 95% of the con, my mum and I were not particularly pleased. Like, it was rough. It was just not good. It was just not good, Crispy.
I can't believe you got through the day, and I feel for you, and I probably more so feel for your mother. That's horrible. That I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
We had
going
one more
through
autograph
that.
we wanted to get from a separate guest, May Calamori, I think is how you say her name, who was Layla in Moon Knight, one of the leading cast who became Scarlet Scarab. And I was like,
my favorite MCU show that I've definitely seen.
You haven't seen Moon Knight still?
So how was the autograph?
Oh my god, you've got to watch that, Crispy. That's one of the better ones from Marvel. You've really got to watch that. Anyway,
I don't know.
We honestly got to the point. She was on her lunch. We finished our photo about 1:00, and with Showmasters, you can't pay by card for anything in there. If you have to pay, if you haven't got cash on the day, you go to a specific desk, tell them how much you want, you give them a card, and then they give you vouchers. But you can go back to the desk and get a refund if you want, like if you don't get everything honoured or you can't manage whatever it is, which is fine. That's laid out well. Give them credit there, some credit. But May was away from her desk until about 2:00, and we finished everything about 1:10 and said to Mum and Jenny, and they went, right, I'm happy to go now. We'll go and get a refund. We won't go and get May's autograph. We'll just go if you want. And she went, no, we'll go have a sit down. We'll wait. We'll meet her. So we did. We left at 2 as soon as we met her. Got an autograph from her on a pop. Lovely. Great interaction.
Nice.
My mum got to flex some of her Egypt knowledge to her, because that was a lot of the stuff with me.
Yeah,
That was
your
like
mum loves
Egyptology.
Egypt.
Mentioned it to her. She was like, oh, have you been to Egypt? My mum went, yeah, about 14 times. You should have seen her jaw hit the floor. It's absolutely lovely. So nice to have spoken to her.
As
soon as we got that
That's
autograph,
so damn cool.
You may as well have thought we were cosplaying Sonic the Hedgehog. We were out that door faster than you can believe. And genuinely, the exit, by the way, the exit was the exhibitor's entrance that we'd been turned out of on the way, and I saw the same guard who didn't let us in, and I was so tempted to say something to him, but I just went, I can't be bothered. Went straight out.
Dude,
went straight
if
out.
I was with you,
got on a train.
If I was with you, I think, it would have been you and me just having a quiet chat.
Honestly, I was so tempted to. I went, I really want to talk to him, but I can't be asked. Let's just get you out of here. She's like, yeah, let's just go, please.
No, that is the priority. If anything, I'm hearing, like, I'm glad that the photos turned out well, but I just feel sorry for you and your mum. That sounds like a genuinely nightmare scenario Comic-Con experience.
Yeah, genuinely. It's just, mate, I don't know. And the whole thing was, because obviously we booked this before operation, we planned to be at the con for the whole day. We'd have struggled anyway with, like, sitting down and stuff, because she struggled there before, but we were willing to, because Ncuti had a talk in the evening. Because that got canned, we had no reason to stick around. And honestly, had it still been on, I think we probably would have still gone. I don't think we'd have stuck around for several hours to wait for that. So the one silver lining was we did get to go out and to have a bit of a wander around, a couple of bits in London, went to Leicester Square. My mum got a Gladiator cup from Odeon, like with the Gladiator helmet on, because she really wanted that, and it wasn't in Liverpool, so grabbed her that. Went into the M&M store, like I said, when we got this, which was, I can't believe the M&M store is like a highlight of London, but it genuinely was. And my mum said she wants to go to a place called Carnaby Street, which is apparently like really popular for like 60s fashion. So I was like, okay, went down there. She was chuffed, got some photos of her down there. Lovely. Had a nice little meal in a pub. It was great. Once we were out of the con, London was nice.
Yeah, that's saying. It sounds like you had a great day after the fact. Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. That is crazy.
So, I just kind of feel like, looking at it all, like getting to meet Ncuti and Millie, especially Michael. Michael, fine. I think Michael was a bit late for his photos, but I felt like we didn't have as much of a problem lining up there. And I think that's mainly because he was the first big guest of his respective photo studio, Studio B. A was Ncuti and Millie, Ncuti and Millie together, individuals, so A was chaos the whole time. B was pretty bad, but there wasn't as much of a crowd, so we kind of managed to get through that all right. So Michael was fine. But just because I felt like we didn't get to chat much to Ncuti and Millie because of how rushed it was, on top of that, how terribly the photos were organised, on top of that, knowing how chaotic it was trying to get in line, and that most people didn't even get their photos, the highlight of meeting them feels like everything else is wearing it down slightly.
Yeah. No,
I feel
100%.
like out of all the doctors I've met, even though Ncuti is not by far the least nice doctor, I wouldn't even be able to say who the not nice one was, because they've all been lovely. But like out of all of them, like the least almost kind of like core memory experience is probably going to be Ncuiti's, because it was so one and done, and everything around it was so terrible. And he was the most expensive fella.
In 10 years, you'll be able to meet him again, and it'll be the most glorious thing ever.
Well,
but
do you know what I'm hoping?
Just for now,
I'm holding out hope.
It's not good.
We are going to see him in his stage play, the Ernest in the West End in January. So I'm hoping, I haven't got high hopes, because the thing is, it'll probably have a bit of a crowd. I mean, God, Tom Holland's for Romeo and Juliet. I mean, you couldn't see him. He was out and in a car and gone. That was it.
Yeah.
But like Ncuti, I'm hoping there might be a chance. Probably won't be. But It would be great if we get like an actual epilogue to this story that ends well, but who knows? He's a lovely guy. Like I said, out of all of them, got to have a bit of a chat with Chris Rex and David Tennant. Like I said, lovely. Matt Smith said he loved my mum's dress and loved my hair. Like that was great.
Beautiful.
Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker, saw her a few times. She was like, got sick of queuing. Like all lovely stuff. Shooty was very much just kind of a hiya, Shooty, gone. I don't have a memorable conversation with him, which is like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just
it's annoying, mate. It's really annoying.
It's really, really rough. So I think that covers everything. I'm almost like looking at the time we've been recording, and I'm like, is this just all the episodes?
Yeah, I think we just accept. I need one pick-me-up caller, just remind me how much I love Doctor Who. So thank you, everyone.
Do you know what we could do? We could mark these calls and actually have a 15th Doctor episode and not waste these. I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's take one though. Let's take one. Do you know what? Give us one caller, Crispy. Give us something to end off on.
I just liked the subject Dakota, not from Dakota. So let's listen to
what have you got, Dakota?
Dakota. Hello. Oh, it's not going to work. No, it's a horrible episode.
Much like
this is the worst.
Woohoo!
Oh gosh, here we go, Dakota.
Hey guys, I'm excited to hear about meeting Ncuti Gatwa. Troy, I'm sure that was awesome. He seems great. I know he's a wonderful doctor, and I'm excited to see more of him in the Christmas special because we didn't see enough of him in season 1. Something that I don't know if you guys have talked before, but people's Doctor Who origin story. How did you come to Doctor Who? I came to it later in life, and as an American in a small town, I'm like the only one I know who likes it.
Oh, Dakota, thank you very much for your very, very genuine call there. I loved that. That felt like it had a lot of heart, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the only people in my sphere that kind of likes Doctor Who my whole life. Not even my family. It used to be just me and my auntie, and now she hasn't watched since Jodie. But to answer your question, my first episode was James Corden, as some of you would know, and Troy's was the Series 3 opener. What was it?
Smith and Jones, baby.
Smith and Jones. So yeah, not the most conventional episodes to start with for Doctor Who, but thanks for calling in. I don't think we've had Dakota before, have we?
I don't think so. Or maybe. I'm not. The name seems familiar, so maybe we have. But
maybe we have. Anyway, appreciate
we
you.
always used to say, if you want to get to know us before like jumping in, listen to episode 1. I imagine how different episode 1 is to us now. Like the change.
I think I think I did listen to it last year. It is weird. It is different because we've met in person now. It's almost a year since we've met.
You were the Taylor Swift fan and I wasn't, and it's like look at that.
How the turntables.
I still like Taylor Swift. The Eras tour being probably the best gig I've ever been to. Genuinely, like it's just insane.
Yeah,
it's insane. But
yeah, well, thanks for your call. I feel a bit better. Troy, I'm sorry about your day, dude.
Oh,
I'm really sorry.
Honestly, and I do want to say, I probably should have said this earlier, I do apologize for how, negative this is. I mean, it's probably very valid as to, you can understand why I've said what I've said and, all of that stuff, but I feel like most people who listen to this know I'm, one of the most optimistic, positive people around. It's hard to not find me like that. It's one of those weeks, because, my God, if you follow me for my Payday content, it's just as bad over there right now. The executives there have decided they're just going to basically pretty much, but not quite, pull the plug on Payday 3 right as it's starting to get a better reception. So, there's blood boiling in that community too. So this week, I'm just ready for this week to end, mate. I'm ready.
The world is slowly falling apart.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks.
It's okay, though.
Stop the world, I want to get off. But I want to say, I don't want it to be lost. I do know how fortunate I am to have actually met him, especially considering even Down people didn't get to manage that. I don't want to seem ungrateful for that. I know I said the interactions could have been better. That's not down to him. That's just down to how quickly, factory line process this was. He was lovely, Millie was lovely, and like I said, Michael, gorgeous person, love him. But I don't want to come off cross ungrateful, so I just want to make that clear here. I don't know if it's come across that, but I want to make sure it's clear. I realise we're both very fortunate to even got to meet him. So, I mean, hell, if I'd just been Diamond and gone on my own, like I'd said to my mum, God knows if I'd even met him, because it sounds like I might not have even managed that.
Yeah. No, I don't think you would have.
Who knows? I said to my mum, I was like, I'll take your figures, I'll get everything signed for us, we'll be sorted. And to be fair, in hindsight, I could have done the blooming autographs myself, because all he did was write the names on them and no personalizations, and didn't really say much, but the photos, fine, but whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know. I know what you could say.
What?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you, Crispy. Thank you very much. So yeah, I apologize for the slightly downtrodden mood of this episode, but we didn't.
I don't think it's your fault, dude.
I know. I feel like I'm just apologizing for someone else's mistake. I do this all the time. I suddenly feel like it's my fault. It's an anxiety thing. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, I will end on this note, which is that if you want to go to a Comic-Con, and like I said, I know some people have given criticisms here and there, but if you want to go to one, I recommend any that a Monopoly event's done. Especially for accessibility, no one does it better in the game than they do. Because, like I said, the way you get in, the way you queue for autographs or photographs, any of that, it's all perfect from what I've seen for accessibility for Monopoly. Maybe there are some horror stories. I've not heard them, and we've never really had a particularly notable problem. So they're basically the ones that are called Comic-Con blank. So Comic-Con Liverpool, Comic-Con Manchester, all those. I would recommend maybe against the Manchester one because the venue is a little bit too cramped. But apart from that, that's just venue choice. But they're the ones to go for. If you want an accessible, good Comic-Con, go to one of those. Because Showmasters, they ain't it. They just ain't it. Don't know about accessibility for MCM. Mum and I haven't been to an MCM con for a long time, and I don't think back then we applied for accessibility. We didn't really think it was a thing. So who knows? Maybe I'll be able to let you know about that at some point when we go to an MCM con. We'll find out.
Yeah. Please.
But yeah, so avoid Showmasters like the plague if you have disabilities until they actually improve things.
That's the takeaway, folks.
It's rough. And even if you don't, from the sounds of it, honestly, like I'm just talking, defending my mum, but really it's worse than that. It's just they need to improve the photos, have an actual proper queue out system in place that isn't just some duct tape on a floor, and actually be able to turn people away. Queue people up for different photos. Have a venue big enough to let those queues start forming. You know, even if you say to people, we're not queuing for this thing yet, they're not going to go anywhere. If that's the main thing they're going to do, give them somewhere to wait. Give them a line to start forming, and then you'll be fine. Like, I remember one final story to wrap it up. To example, at MCM, I met someone out of Baldur's Gate 3, one of the smaller cast members, still a pretty notable one. But there was a desk where they were going to meet. It was a huge open space, but we're not queuing for it yet. But it was a huge open space around the meet and greet table. So my friend and I just stood there and chilled, just waited. We weren't right in front of the desk. We were kind of just chilling there. Queue began to form naturally. It got chaotic towards the end, but at least we had a place we could stand and wait that wasn't impeded on by other photo opportunities and autographs. There was enough of a space to allow you to just kind of chill in the area and wait. You got no chance of that, Showmasters. You're either outside the venue or you're inside a mosh pit. There's no in between. So it's just rough.
Disappointing, mate. It's disappointing.
So, thank you all for listening to this episode of Who's There, Doctor Who podcast. A cautionary tale, you might say. Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson are lovely. The con they chose, not so much. To everyone at Showmasters who did actually do a good job, like I said, the floor staff, you tried your best. I know you did. It was plainly obvious. And volunteer or not, you weren't paid enough for whatever you did. I can say that much for a fact. You all deserve a raise. But to the people running it and laying these things out, get a better venue, get a better queuing system, and people might actually be able to recommend your conventions. Because right now, every time people go, have people not learned from Showmasters? No, they haven't learned.
No.
There is a nickname for Showmasters that I heard on the floor a couple of times, and I was like, I agree with it, but it has a swear word in it. It has the same number of letters as Showmasters. You can probably put it together. And I'm like, maybe that's apt. And I don't like saying that because I don't like being mean in any way. But this one, it feels earned. So, Crispy, thank you for being here for my therapy session. I will be I'll pay you on the hour.
I'll be charging you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Usual
I hope you
rate.
enjoyed the stories and hope you all enjoyed listening, despite the nature of it. It'll be a nice edit. I'm not even probably going to do much of this. I'm just going to be like, right, levelator, cut it off, put the one call in, put it out. Just put it out, mate. Put it out
to the people.
I'll get a good picture of me and Ncuti for you, and then
thanks, mate.
That'll be it. Appreciate it. All right, people. We'll see you all next week where we celebrate. Call will be out by the time this goes out. Well, to be fair, Crispy, it allows us to get ahead a little bit because we can record a little 15-minute episode ahead of time.
I know. We're all good.
I know.
We're good to go.
We can do a bit of back recording. Exciting. But the next one we are going to do, we got a plan. Our live episode is going to be just after Doctor Who 60th anniversary, so that won't be about that. That's on TBD topic. We haven't figured it out yet. But the next episode we're going to do right before then, the next one you'll hear is celebrating Doctor Who's birthday. It will come out the week of that birthday, so like 5 days before. So we want to know what your favourite thing about Doctor Who is. A core memory, something you love about it. Anything like that, share them with us. The call will still be active. We'll probably record like Wednesday, Thursday, Crispy, I think, yeah?
We'll sort it out. We'll sort
it out. So we'll give people time after this comes out to drop a call in. We want a bumper amount. We're going to go through as many as we can. I think it'd be really nice for Doctor's birthday. Just go through a ton. Make it even harder for me to edit, but it's fine. It'll be worth it for a good episode. And especially considering we didn't really get any calls in bar one today, I think you've earned having some extra ones in, folks. So thanks for enjoying the therapy session. We'll see you all next time with your favourite things about Doctor Who. Until then, Crispy, sorry, closing comments? You got any?
I did say look for the show Master.
Until next time, it's goodbye from Crispy.
Bye.
It's goodbye from me. Allons-y, baby.
Allons-y.